Morning, everybody.
Morning.
Well, we've had a normal breakfast, a normal morning this morning. Yeah, I was reflecting on the lorry situation. When we were on that site up in, I've forgotten the name.
You should check before you go on.
I should check before I go on.
Yeah.
I should check before I come on. Colden. When we were up on Colden, we were parked opposite a quarry. You know, where the snow was, when we were in all that snow. And I was watching out of the windscreen all the lorries, just an endless procession of lorries. When I went for a walk, all these lorries were all going to a quarry. And when I went for a walk through Colden village, I walked further down the road and there were a massive cement works down there. And as we drove when we eventually got off that site, we just kept passing quarries and cement works. And I know when we were on the pub car park, when we overnighted at the pub car park, I heard the lorries from 6 o'clock because the road was passing behind us, and there were just lorry. I never realised there were that many quarries and cement works in Derbyshire. And it reminded me, I thought, what's all this with Derbyshire? Because it reminded me of way back when I was tuning. I used to have a customer in Derbyshire. I used to go to this customer. I used to go on the M180, the M1, and come off on the A38 and come off the A38 round near Derbyshire. And this customer lived down the end of this enormously long track. You went through a farm gate and you were out on this track in rolling hills and countryside. And at the end of this track was this lovely cottage. And the couple who lived in this cottage were retired. They'd come up from down south to retire in this lovely cottage in the middle of the Derbyshire countryside. And she were a keen gardener, was the lady.
Had a lovely garden.
She had a lovely garden. And I remember there used to be all field fairs. I didn't know, I'd never heard of field fairs, but all these little birds used to land on a lawn at the same time every year. And she said there were field fairs and they used to stop off on their migration route somewhere. And the lawn were covered in them. And I went, I mean, she had this beautiful conservatory which wrapped round the back of the house, which overlooked the garden. Lovely place. And I went one year and all I could hear was this beep, 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 beep. I asked, what's that? And it was a quarry that some mining company had been given permission to, I don't know whether it were open cast mine, a quarry, what the heck it was. But I think they'd been given a 7-year contract. They had 7 years to dig it, to get out of it what they wanted and close it up again and put it back exactly how it was. But they'd put this mound of earth at the bottom of their garden, this couple's garden, so that you couldn't see it. You could hear it though.
Yeah.
And there they were. They'd come to retire in the middle of the Derbyshire countryside. Who'd ever believe in a million years that would have happened? You came with me once, didn't you, Pat?
Yeah, because if we were going long distances, I used to go out with him and we'd be out for a day, take picnic or stop off somewhere and have lunch. And
yeah.
Yeah, I sat in that conservatory and having coffee and looking at a beautiful garden.
Mm.
And as he says, that year we went and all we could hear was beep, beep, beep.
Yeah, yeah. So what is it with Derbyshire? Is there something under the ground
It's
that
rich in something.
rich in summer that there's all these quarries and cement works? But I've been to Derbyshire a good many times, and it's never been so noticeable as it was
This time.
this time. God,
Yeah.
because I mean the roads are not that wide.
No.
All these lorries. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so, and the other thing I was going to mention was the boiler. Do you remember me complaining? I think it's on the video called Foul Smells and Boiler Noises or something, it's called. And, oh look, oh no, is that a J?
Yes.
Yeah, J.
Yeah.
Up on, just lovely colours.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Don't know if you,
Beautiful.
let's just turn, oh dear, I'm messing about again there. Try to show you this J. Yeah, we're talking about the boiler, and it were making this screeching noise. It's done it for years, on and off, but all in the winter mainly, when it's in use more. Well, I got this little piece of plastic, and I put it in between the housing and the boiler case, because that's, when you pushed it a certain way, the housing, it stopped. So I jammed it in and I left it in overnight, this piece of plastic, and it didn't make any screeching noises. And then the following morning when we were moving, I took it out and I haven't put it back since, and it's been all right, hasn't it, Pat?
I haven't heard it.
I mean, it's going now and it's not screeching.
No.
But what's occupying my thoughts is that we can't understand. We've never been cold in this van.
No.
Van.
We've always been warm and cosy, haven't we?
Always been warm, even in the winter. And for some reason, this year, it's struggling to get the motorhome warm, isn't it?
Front end, it's red out of
yesterday, I mean, there was no snow on ground or out yesterday, no frost, and yet it was, because I've got it set on electric and gas, and it were on gas all the time. It could never, even on the gas and the electric, it just wasn't getting it up to temperature and switching off. It was just on all the time. I mean, we're really going through gas. We can't understand it. Never used. It's never been like that. And we can't understand why we ran out of power in one night. We've been out in this camper in the winter before and stayed over at various places on odd nights here and there, haven't we? Got through the night with no problem. And what was strange was, when we got to that pub where we stayed the other night, we parked up and had a meal in there, and then we come out and I put it in right in corner out of the way. And when I checked the battery, it were only 12.4. And I couldn't understand it. We'd been on a hookup. All right, they had a power cut because the wind blew down one of the telegraph poles on that site we were on. And the pole fell onto an electric fence, shorted out, and it set fire to a tree. And one of the days we were there on that site up at Colden, up at the top there, they had to come in with a new telegraph pole, and of course the electric were off for about
2 hours.
2 or 3 hours during the afternoon. But it were on all night. It came on.
Yeah.
tea time-ish and it were on all night. So I don't know. And then we drove to the pub. So I've no idea why
It should be low.
it should be low. Should have been so low when we started. So it wasn't fully charged when we started. No wonder we ran out of power, but I can't understand why. So these are quandaries. These are quandaries. It's the boiler.
Does it need
Quandary.
servicing
Why the boiler's not going off? It's going off today.
Yeah.
So gone off now. And you know, since I had this van to that bloody garage.
Yeah. All the time he's saying it's that bloody garage.
That garage,
it's that garage.
I don't know if they've had this floor up here by the driver's seats and that, but it really cold.
Yeah.
Is the floor. I never was aware of it before.
No.
How cold this floor is where the driver's and passenger seat is. I've had the carpets up. But I mean, I don't know what we're... It's like rubber matting down on the floor. I don't know what we're underneath it, so I've no way of knowing whether they've not put something back at all. God. Oh, all these. All these.
All the heat seems to be under the bed. At the back of the van. There's only one blower at the front, isn't there?
Yeah.
Here, above
where you
my
are.
feet are.
Where you are.
I mean, it's not blowing out at the moment, but it seems to be struggling to get that one hot.
This is where the thermostat is, over the door.
Yeah. Yeah, but there's a blower just below.
There is a blower. There is a vent at the door, where the door is. There's a vent where you are, and there's a vent coming out from under the bed.
Yeah, and they're hot, but when you get to this blower, it's not as hot.
Well, this vent here,
we think
it goes
outside.
under the floor. It goes down under the van and comes back up again.
We think.
And the cold air outside must be taking all the heat out of that pipe, so that the warm air coming out of this vent ain't as hot as it ought to be.
Which we've never experienced before, have we?
I never complained about it before. No. All it's been warm as toast in this thing. But not this year. So there we are.
So if you see me with my earmuffs on and my scarf round
yeah, yesterday.
Me other cardies.
That's why she had her earmuffs on yesterday. Yeah. In the camper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my hands seem to go cold real quick, don't they?
They do.
They're lovely and warm this morning. But then they go white and they have a funny feel about them. So...
Rigor mortis saying it.
So if you see me with gloves on, you know why. Oh dear, I'm not fit to be out, really.
You're not fit. Well, if you're not fit, I should be in a padded cell, mate. God. Yeah, so I don't know what we're doing today.
He had me sat on bed yesterday with a piece of wood lifting bed up, so he could see where the heat come out from under the mattress. I had to have stool to get on because it was that high.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I thought, why is all heat under the bed when I'm freezing? So I propped the bed up so I let the heat out from under bed. That's where the boiler is, of course.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
It didn't really do out, did it?
No, it didn't. It didn't. No, it didn't make the slightest bit of difference.
It seems as though we've got a pipe that runs along back at bed where pillars are that is doing nothing. It's just like a dead end.
It's got a stop end on it. There's a pipe that runs to the bathroom.
Yeah, underneath it.
And then this pipe runs all the way around the edge of the bed the side of the bed and the back of the bed, and it has a stop end on it.
And
it gets really hot,
it
does
gets
that pipe?
really hot where pillars are
Yeah,
at top end at bed.
Feel the heat
don't they?
coming out.
Pillars are red hot. And me, I start taking things off. You
Red
know, when
hot
I'm sat
back
on
there,
it.
and I'm sat up front
He's
shivering,
sat up front
shivering.
My feet are getting cold, he says.
Oh dear.
We have got a foot warmer at Tracy's that Tracy bought him.
Yeah.
But it's all plug-in, isn't it?
Yeah, something else to plug in.
Yeah, you've got a muff thing that for your hands that's battery operated. We'll have to bring that with us.
Mufflers on my feet, mufflers on my hands, and I'm sat in gas going full blast. Ridiculous. Utterly ridiculous. No, no.
Well, Tracy does try to keep you warm.
Oh yeah, I know. I have used it in the past at Tracy's. Put my feet in it, yeah. Yeah, I do get cold feet.
Oh dear.
Don't get old.
Don't get old, he says. Oh dear, all sorts start happening.
Yeah, right. Okay, how long? I don't know how long. We'll call that. I don't know what we're doing today.
No.
So we'll see you later. Righty bye.
Bye.